Hello, good afternoon and welcome to JoyNewsRoom with me, MFA Akosia Adeti. We are coming to you from our studios here in Kokomlemle, Accra. We're also live on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 125 and across all of our social media handles and around the world as myjoyonline.com. Coming out this afternoon, Ghana Maritime Authority termination sparks political backlash amid downsizing justification. Also, we have updates from Ghana Police on injured students after 16-year-old accidental gun discharge at school. And the update is from the Ghana Police Service. Would also bring you a clash between NPP's Rev.Ntim and NDC's Sammy Gyamfi on suspicious activities of an air ambulance and another private jet which were in Ghana in March this year.
About intelligence in your possession, to the effect that certain aircraft were smuggling illicit. Allow the security. You don't have any evidence that is here, and you're entertaining. You have no conscience. You have no shame. You are an embarrassment. You are covering.
More as Sammy Gyamfi calls for the arrest and prosecution of Rev.Ntim if he is unable to substantiate his claim, with the NP also daring Mr. Gyamfi to do so whilst he is in the studio, the Joy News studio particularly.
If he doesn't honor the invitation,
I dare you to call them to come and arrest me right here on the show.
He can hide behind his parliamentary privileges. He's like that because he will be arrested.
Drug dealers.
Some of us will arrest and you must substantiate that.
Drug dealers.
We appreciate your company this afternoon. Joy News, independent, fearless, and credible. Now, first, it was a sizzling clash in the studios of Joy News as the NDC's National Communications Officer, Sammy Gyamfi, dared the NPP's Rev.Ntim to substantiate evidence to his claims concerning two aircraft allegedly linked to drug trafficking and money laundering. Spokesperson on Defense and Interior Committee, Rev.Ntim had alleged the flight may have engaged in suspicious activities after landing and staying in Ghana for 5 days and subsequently requested a probe by the committee. A spokesperson of Minister of State Designate for Government Communications, Felix Kwache Ofosu, explained in a video that the details shared by Mr. Ntim are false, detailing the reasons what or why the aircraft were in the country, including fixing technical faults.
The disinformation machine of the new patriotic party has been ratcheted up, and they've taken it a notch higher. This time, Rev.Ntim, who also doubles as the Member of Parliament for the good people of Asin South, has made very wild claims to the effect that two aircrafts which passed through Ghana for various reasons were carrying drugs, and that was the reason why they were here. He also alleged that they were involved in money laundering, and therefore he was calling for investigations. As you may be aware, President Mahama gave him the opportunity to present any evidence or any basis he has for making that claim to the security services, so that together we could look into the matter to ascertain whether there was any truth in it. I can report to you that because he knew he was peddling total falsehoods and lies, he now claims, after being invited to assist with investigations, that he was speaking on behalf of the committee that he was part of, and that the views he expressed were not his personal views. So because of that, he says he's unable to cooperate with the security agencies. I say that he was peddling falsehood because the facts as they exist vary completely from the claims that he made. When he made that claim, he was only seeking to peddle falsehood in a bid to undermine the confidence that the people of Ghana have in this government. The truth is that two aircrafts with completely different purposes arrived in Ghana, and their arrival was perfectly legitimate, and they were here for very genuine reasons. The first one is an Antonov flight 12BK with registration number CVK 7037. Now, this flight essentially is a cargo plane which arrived on the 12th of March 2025. Now, no plane arrives in Ghana without a landing permit. So this plane secured a landing permit with number GAF/TMAO/25/7863. Now, the purpose for arriving in Ghana was what we call a technical stop. Essentially, this is a cargo flight that was destined for the European Union market. And European Union regulations dictate that some specific regulatory requirements be met before any plane of that sort can enter the EU. Now, this plane originated from Luanda in Angola. It was loaded with oil drill equipment and lubricant oil, which were contained in jerrycans. It was headed for the EU market. Now, Luanda does not have the certification to carry out the sort of requirements that this plane had to meet before entering the EU market. Now, the specific requirement is a scanning and screening RA3 procedure, which is a requirement to enter the European Union. Luanda doesn't have it. The Swiss cargo facility at the Kotoka International Airport has that certification, and they can do that kind of scanning. Whilst here, it developed an engine blade fault. Its engine blade was damaged, and then it was also detected that there was severe oil leakage, which required immediate attention. For that reason, a replacement aircraft, URCEZ, with registration number CVK 7007, was brought in to evacuate the cargo.
On Newsfile a while ago, Sammy James accused Rev.Ntim of spreading falsehood and dared him to share any further intelligence it has on his claims, or he would ensure the NP is arrested and prosecuted.
What has Felix said, which you have proven to be a lie here? He's giving you the numbers of all the aircrafts, the dates they arrived. He told you that they had landing permits. He told you what they were carrying. He told you the number of days they had to stay at the Kotoka International Airport. He gave you the reason. But where did you get this guy?
Check the man.
What is the meaning of this?
Check that itinerary.
I have never seen anybody be this disruptive on Newsfile. Okay. What is the meaning of this? Look, so he has given you all the details, and he has demonstrated to you that these aircrafts were here for legitimate reasons. They went through thorough security inspection by aviation security, by national security, by the national, by the narcotics, NACOC. All these state security institutions inspected these aircrafts, and nothing untoward has been done. He has told you where they went from here. He has given you the numbers. You can track the aircrafts. What again do you want to hear before you know that this man is lying? Because he has not given you any evidence at all. And he says that state security agencies should investigate suspicions. And Kofi Bentel is supporting him. Hey. His suspicions that he is not able to substantiate. This can only happen in Ghana.
What do you call
in other jurisdictions, this guy would have been blacklisted.
Look, when we were in opposition
and we were criticizing the dense organizations, we always adduce evidence to substantiate our allegations. And that is why we were never look, the only time I was arrested on the allegation that I had published false information, the matter didn't travel beyond 2 hours. I was picked from the premises of UTV on grounds that I had published false information. I went to the CID, they asked me, I provided the evidence. Matter ended. You are here. You've made spurious claims. You are talking about intelligence in your possession, in your knowledge, to the effect that certain aircrafts were smuggling illicit substances. You don't have any evidence. And he is here, and you are entertaining him. You have no conscience, you have no shame, you are an embarrassment to your party, you are an embarrassment to your constituency, and it is only in a country like ours that you will be entertained. And I want to say this. If this guy does not honor the invitation of national security to do that,
call them to come and arrest me right here.
I'm saying that if he doesn't honor the invitation,
I dare you to call them to come and arrest me right here.
And he thinks that he can hide behind his parliamentary privileges. He lied bad because he will be arrested.
Drug dealers.
Some of us will arrest MPs, and you must substantiate that.
Cover drug dealers and arrest innocent MPs.
That protocol must be followed.
We will follow it.
That's all.
And we will get to him. We will follow it. It's just a matter of time.
But here.
Every day for thief man, one day for master. Your cup is full. Your time has come.
The Member of Parliament for Asin South, who refused to share his evidence when pressed by host Samson Ladia-Nyenene, rather questioned why Felix Kwachio Fosu is the one responding to the suspicions raised and not the national security, arguing government is hiding something.
Of suspicion for relevant authorities to investigate and put out credible information. And that query is evaded by politicians who can't champion the PR of it and prevent the security agencies from undertaking their investigations and credible communication, and demand that the ranking member must bring pictures and samples of the cash and cocaine suspected to be in the flight. Then what was the basis for we calling for inquiry and investigations into it? If I don't have a picture and a sample of the cocaine, then I have no gravitas to ask for investigation. Is that a kind of logic? Please, in this matter,
so you are saying
if the government of Ghana is not serious about it,
anybody can get up any day in this country and raise an alarm, and the government should go investigating. And when it investigates and it brings you what it says, this is what the truth is supposed to be.
One investigation,
they should be entitled.
No, please, let me tell you.
Hold on.
No investigation has been done.
They should be entitled to say what the government is showing is false, is fake, and we shouldn't believe that.
Samson, what he put out there cannot be taken seriously, because yesterday I debated Kwachio Fosu.
The point is here.
Please.
Reverend,
and he said no investigation has been done.
You are not answering my question.
You said not answering my question. An investigation has been done, for which he has put this information, and I'm telling you, he himself said no investigation has been done yet.
You say that you have a suspicion.
Yeah.
Have you moved beyond the suspicion?
We have put out the suspicion we had.
So have you moved beyond suspicion?
To where?
Because you have been shown evidence of the content of the cargo.
And that is not credible. That content
so
is not
it
credible.
Means you are not dealing with suspicion, right?
No, that content is not credible, and Samson...
It is not credible because you are not dealing with suspicion. Is that correct?
If you will indulge, the moment we put this information out there, the president responded and called for investigation into the matter, and even called for collaboration. I further wrote for that directive that the president had given to be undertaken. I wrote on 2nd April for it. NDC Parliamentary Caucus wrote a letter to gag that process.
Meanwhile, still on this matter, Senior Vice President of Imani Africa, Kofi Bentil, asked for a bipartisan approach in dealing with the controversy. He believes a parliamentary probe should have been the best approach.
Its counter position is the official position. Mm-hmm. At this point, he cannot say he's denied it, except he has other information. But the position of putting out information which he suspects and which he has credible information, I'm saying that, look, my brother here, the president sitting in his office may not know everything going on everywhere. But you have a situation where when some of these things happen, people see it as an attack on them. That's why I'm saying the nationalistic view will be, look, let us find out what the truth of this matter is. Because we have this history, like Prof. Eni was telling you, where this country has been slipping and we are making some kind of, recovery. Let's not go back. It may be one or two persons trying to do something wrong. So where there is credible information and it can be proven not to be credible, we leave it. I take the information that the state has given me. But I worry because, you see, in a sense, it's the system that is being accused. What will it hurt? That's why I started by saying if we didn't have a polarized partisan atmosphere, to include the minority side of parliament and let the security services go into it. Aircraft movement information is historical and is very meticulous. Let's just lay it out to his satisfaction, other people's satisfaction, and put out the information not in a one-sided way.
Yeah, you have said this. You have said this already.
Away from that, the President of the Republic has terminated the appointment of the Director of Finance at the Ghana Maritime Authority. A letter dated March 12, 2025 and signed by the Secretary to the President, Callistus Mahama, conveyed the directive while it cited no specific reason for the dismissal. It expressed gratitude for the official service to the nation. Now, this move appears to be part of a broader restructuring at the authority. The newly appointed Director General of the Ghana Maritime Authority, Dr. Kamaldeen Ali, has indicated the institution is overpopulated and needs a downsizing to streamline operations and enhance efficiency. Here is the Director General speaking to Elton Broby on the Pulse.
The force is large, unfortunately. To put it this way, my organization that I lead has moved from a staff complement that is almost 400% in the last couple of years.
400%?
Yes. So we have a staff complement, for example, of less than 110 in 2017, and I inherited something that is nearing 600 staff members.
From 2017 to 2025?
Exactly.
From 107?
About 110.
110
yes,
to 600?
So about getting to 600. So that is a very high level compensation budget for the Ghana Maritime Authority to meet. It is an overemployment, and I'm sure this has been characterized by many other agencies in the country. That doesn't really match up with the financial growth of the authority, nor does it even match up with the expertise that is required to run the affairs of the authority. But these and other matters are being looked at to see how the staff complement can be looked into and brought to reasonable level. Otherwise, what it means is that you have a high staff budget that is hanging on the authority's neck. You are also having a situation where you are unable to employ others in future, but more importantly, you have a situation where expertise will not match productivity and work environment. So
the word you use here is that overly employed.
Yes.
Meaning you have people who have been employed that may not have nothing to do. Is that what it means?
To some extent, we do have a good numbers of that, because there haven't been a match up with the employment and defining roles for them, nor do we even need all those hands within the authority.
So the possibility of layouts is high?
Yeah, sure, which is part of His Excellency's resetting vision.
However, the development has drawn sharp criticism from opposition voices. Reacting strongly, former Deputy Minister of Education, Member of Parliament as well, and a ranking member on Defence and Interior, again Rev.Ntim, described the dismissals as politically motivated. He shared a statement on his social media platform saying, well, and quote, after failing to create jobs for Ghanaians, President Mahama is personally terminating the appointment of technocrats who have been duly appointed by Public Service Commission several years ago in Ghana Maritime Authority. It continues to also say that so far, 40 technical professionals and divisional heads who are not political appointees but have earned the appointment on merit have suffered this unfair and politically motivated terminations in Ghana Maritime, and concluded by saying that this is the only president who personally fires technocrats. This reset has overreached. Now, away from the Ghana Maritime, there's an update this afternoon on the school shooting incident involving a 16-year-old student. The victim, who was accidentally shot on campus, is now in a stable condition after receiving treatment at the Comfort Anochi Teaching Hospital. Now, that statement is by the Ghana Police, but you recall that a female student at Adventist Senior High School in Kumasi sustained severe head injuries after being shot by a classmate on Friday morning. Now, the second-year student was quickly referred to Comfort Anochi Teaching Hospital from the Kwadaso SDA Hospital. And here are the excerpts of the police statement on the update. It says that the location, Adventist Senior High School in Kumasi, and it happened on Friday, April 4, 2025, around 12 p.m. And it continues to give a detailed update on the 16-year-old student. It says that a 16-year-old a 16-year-old second-year student brought a locally made pistol loaded with BB ammunition to school while showing it to a classmate. The gun accidentally discharged and injured another student. The statement continues to say that the injured student was treated at Komfanoche Teaching Hospital and is in stable condition. Also, the update on the suspect. He's a juvenile suspect and he's been arrested. The weapon and empty cartridge recovered. Suspect claims he took the gun from his father's bedroom without consent. And the police are also seeking the father to assist in the investigation. Well, but the crux of that statement is that the victim is in stable conditions, and we thank God for that. Moving away from that, the warden of the Rebecca Akufo-Addo Sunshine Hostel at Korle Bu Teaching Hospital, Vida Ampia, has made a heartfelt appeal for assistance to provide nutritious meals to cancer children residing at the hostel, emphasizing the critical role adequate nutrition plays in their recovery.
The Rebecca Akufo-Addo Sunshine Hostel provides free accommodation and feeding to cancer children and their guardians for the duration of their treatments and currently offers 2 meals a day. However, warden of the hostel, Vida Ampia, stressed the children require 3 nutritious meals a day to boost their blood levels, prevent infections, and aid speedy recovery. Despite the feeding challenges, the hostel has received some support from Deep Solar Ghana, who has installed a solar power system, ensuring the hostel remains lit during power outages.
And as I keep them here, the utmost thing for me to do is to keep them alive, to feed them. So feeding is a big issue for me. To keep them in the house, I need to keep feeding them. And then we need cleaning materials to keep cleaning the house, disinfectants, soaps. We provide them diapers. Anytime we get donations with diapers, everything we provide them. We provide them everything for free. This is just a big surprise, and I'm so excited about it because when they put out the lights, I have children 3 months old, I have 6 months old. So you can imagine when they put out the light and the whole place is dark, they all start shouting. You know, so you can imagine it's dark and I just walk to the room and then I switch on my solar, then there's lights. Everyone becomes excited, you know, and they are babies, they cry at night, you have to take the child, sometimes you have to feed the child and all that. If you don't have lights to do that, how do you manage?
Handing over the solar power system to the Rebecca Akufo-Addo Sunshine Hostel, CEO of Deep Solar Ghana, Angelo Nati, highlighted the company's dedication to making a tangible difference in the lives of children battling cancer.
Basically 24-hour electricity to all their lights, their fans, and then their sockets. So when power goes off, they have lights, they can see, they won't be in heat. So this is the most important thing. And it's also going to do something to reduce the electricity bills of the building. It's going to, because solar is going to subsidize the expenditure, the electricity expenditure of the building.
Now, the fight against Galamsey has taken a dramatic turn. The Interior Minister Muntaka Mubarak has ordered the IGP to transfer all police commanders in mining zones, a move critics say could be a desperate attempt to shake up a failing system. But will this transfer of power end the menace of illegal mining? And why is the government deporting suspected illegal miners instead of prosecuting them? Emmanuel Jivenu explores the latest twist in Ghana's Galamsey crisis.
For years, illegal mining has ravaged Ghana's forest and poisoned its rivers. Accusations of police complicity have fueled public anger, with reports of officers turning a blind eye to Galamsey or even profiting from the trade.
Police paying Pia or Galamsey area piano. Mama order say you mean
I have informed the IGP that every police commander in Galamsey affected areas should be replaced with new ones. I am not saying they are complicit, but they have been there for too long without the resource. If any of them from these areas approaches you to plead on their behalf to prevent their removal, do not entertain it.
A bold move. But does this solve the problem or merely shift the players? Dr. Ken Ashigbe is the convener for the Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining.
I would also hope that the Chief Justice as well will do a reshuffle of all the high court judges within the mining areas as well, to breathe some air of freshness into the whole justice delivery and the security system.
It's barely 24 hours after the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources labeled Galamsey operators terrorists.
And I take the opportunity to urge all these institutions, including the defense, the police, the judiciary, to play their part. We've already engaged the Attorney General, we've engaged the Chief Justice. I'm very happy that Attorney General is taking the necessary step to try to reconstitute and bring back dedicated courts in dealing with this terrorists. And that's how we see them. They are terrorists.
Instead of facing the full force of Ghana's laws, these foreign nationals are being sent back home.
When we arrest any foreigner, we are not interested in prosecuting them. Our first option is to take them back to their country. And this is something that we are very serious about. And you are the first point of call when sometimes you make arrests or when people are arrested, they are handed over to you. Please, if it involves these two things, the prosecutors within the police have officially written to the Attorney General, we are not interested in prosecuting people who are destroying our environment and who are defrauding people across the globe. What we want is that we want to take them back into their country, and then we'll put them on the stop list, never to be able to come back to our country.
But critics like Manasseh Azori and Dr. Ken Ashibe argue this approach undermines Ghana's justice system.
For foreigners who are engaged in it, they should be punished even more. So go and look at it. They are fined more, they are sentenced more. And why would the minister to create this? And again, Lab mentioned it. The Aisha one, when she was deported, came back. Our borders are so porous. If you deport them, spend taxes money and send them out Ghana through Kotok International Airport, they will come Cote d'Ivoire, they will come through Burkina Faso, they will come through Togo, or somebody will land them, on the coast of my town in Qatar, and they will come and see into this camp. Your land border, your sea borders are so porous. So we should not be doing that.
The battle against illegal mining is far from over. With this new twist of events, questions still remain over government's renewed efforts to end the Galamsey crisis. Emmanuel Jivenu, Joy News.
Away from illegal mining, the principal of Accra College of Education, Professor Samuel Atintudu, has revealed that information technology infrastructure is severely lacking in the country's colleges of education, with availability at only 30 to 40% across the 46 institutions. He described this as a major barrier to effective teacher training, urging the government to prioritize investment in IT infrastructure to equip teachers with data-driven skills. This call came during the launch of the WayTech initiative, which aims to train 150 women at Accra College of Education in data-driven skills. There's more in the following report.
Held under the theme, The Internet Equipping Educators, Enhancing Education, the Dream Mobile Foundation launched the WeTech initiative, bringing together students of Accra College of Education, digital experts, and academicians. The executive director of Dream Mobile Foundation, Efwa Esiama J, explained that over the next 9 months, WeTech will equip 150 female teacher trainees with essential digital skills, aiming to bridge the digital divide among women.
Technology and the internet has not been accessible. As we stand here today, nearly half of all the women in the world are not using the internet, and we have seen that it is disproportionately affects women in Ghana as well. So we have created the WeTech initiative to ensure that the digital gap continues to get smaller instead of grow. And we're doing this by taking at least 150 women through a 9-month course where they'll learn how to teach online, how to create online content, and how to excel in a virtual reality. Imagine a female educator in Accra who's able to teach students in Kenya, teach students in Sudan, and teach students across West Africa. This is only possible with the internet and digital technology.
A member of the first cohort highlighted the challenges faced by female educators, but expressed optimism about the benefits of the WeTech initiative.
It's very challenging when it comes to teachers having the access to digital technologies. And with the connection of, that is the internet connection, it's also another problem. So I'm expecting that by the end of this program, me as a female educator will be able to integrate digital technologies into my teaching.
The principal of the Accra College of Education, Professor Samuel Atintono, however, urged the government to prioritize investment in information technology infrastructure to better equip teachers with data-driven skills.
Across the 46 colleges of education, the last audit that we did about computers and availability of the labs and how functional they are, I'm afraid the percentage was hovering around 30 to 40%. So that in itself is a problem. We have consistently appealed that in order to train teachers well, we need support. And this support would have to also be around the digital space. Maybe for me, what would work for us is Get Fund will have to critically think about whether deploying this at a central point is a digital space. If there's a robust one that they can build, everybody can hop on to learn, rather than even supporting each college or each university. That would be a way to go.
The WeTech initiative is expected to empower teachers to leverage the opportunities of the internet to enhance their skills. For Joy News, Carlos Caloni, Accra.
Government has announced plans to provide STEM kits in pre-tertiary institutions starting from next academic year. This initiative aims to strengthen science, technology, engineering and mathematics education while integrating artificial intelligence into the learning process. Jennifer August has more in this report.
With rapid advancement in technology and artificial intelligence, the education sector is stepping up effort to prepare students for the future. The government's focus on equipping pre-tertiary institutions with modern technology aims to boost digital literacy, problem-solving skills, and innovation. Education Minister Haruna Idrisu highlighted efforts to revolutionize the sector.
In fact, we ourselves will revolutionize STEM education in the coming years. In fact, we are currently engaged in some discussion with the Director General GS, the Ghana Education Trust Fund, and the Ministry of Education to deploy STEM sets, science, mathematics, engineering sets, to upper primary 4 and 6, which should begin next academic year, subject to lawful procurement and acceptability of the use of the device by the Ghana Education Service.
National Robotics Coordinator Koderina Ben Amwako stressed that collaboration with the ministry will expand access to digital learning resources and provide students with hands-on experience in emerging technologies.
We are aware that AI robotics are taking over almost every work field. In the near future, by World Bank's report in 2017, 50% of all jobs will be lost to robotics. For that matter, it is very important that as an organization, we do well to train these children to get this knowledge. So as they move on, they'll take up courses and programs in these fields.
Integrating AI and advanced tech would not only improve academic performance, but also equip students with skills for the global market. Jennifer August report for you.
You're watching Joy Newsroom. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, there's more. Please stay.
Hello there, I am Emefa Apau, your host of The Probe.
Here on the Joy News channel, your Sunday evenings are never the same. I get to give you company in terms of critical analysis of all the topical issues that concerns you and speak to all the people that matter. When the newsmakers want to speak, they speak on the probe.
The IGP's distraction is no benefit to the committee, but we won't sit down for the IGP to be disgraced and insulted without giving him a hearing.
You can't miss it because when it comes to audience participation, you are topmost priority. Start your week right on the probe.
Those who challenge the norm, those, I think it was Robert Kennedy who said some people see situations and ask why. Some envisage solutions and ask why not. So we are looking for impact makers who see situations in their communities, think of solutions and ask why not. You know, those who challenge the situations that impoverish people, those who challenge situations that exclude, you know, citizens from exercising their rights, from accessing their rights, from enjoying the benefits of being Ghanaians, you know, and those who speak truth to power. Those are the kind of impact makers that, you know, I think, you know, we should be aiming to identify, we should be aiming to celebrate, and we should be aiming to reward. Who leads by example, somebody who is helping to address a salient issue in a community, an issue that is critical to vulnerable groups, disadvantaged groups, excluded social groups in their communities. Someone who is seeking to make a change without looking for remuneration, without looking for compensation, that he or she is doing it for altruistic reasons, but also somebody who is willing to join hands with others, rather than saying that this is my project or this is my activity, but wants to join hands with others, you know, to make life better. I would hope that given the brand, the recognition, the legitimacy of Joy and multimedia, any recognition coming from this station, coming from this company, is in itself something to be celebrated. So I think they feel adequately rewarded. But I also think that it inspires them to do more. That the example of they being celebrated on TV and radio and online would also inspire other people to say, let me also do similar.
Welcome back to Joy Newsroom with me, MFA Akosia Adeti. Now, Rev.Ntim Ahlija, president of the Ghana Evangelical Society Association, is urging Ghanaians to embrace the transformative power of artificial intelligence. Speaking out against the growing misconception that AI is Antichrist, Rev.Ntim Ahlija stressed that the technology, when used responsibly, can drive national development. There's more in this report.
President of the Evangelical Society of Ghana, Rev.Ntim Ahlija, is calling on Ghanaians to embrace technology as a driving force for national progress. He stressed that Africa is still grappling with the consequences of being left behind in the Industrial Revolution and warned that Ghana must not repeat history by failing to fully engage with the artificial intelligence era. Speaking at the Society's 34th General Meeting, he stressed that complacency will only widen Ghana's gap in the global digital economy.
But for missions in Ghana, a lot of us wouldn't be here.
I did the research, and almost all the presidents that Ghana ever had, distinguished Speaker and Mr. Chairman, were trained by missionary schools. And so if this nation would want to go back to a rapid socioeconomic growth, then I think that we should focus on the growth and development of missions in this country. Some of us don't know that UTC, one of those popular chain stores, was started by Presbyterians.
Reverend Ahija further called for strategic collaborations between the government, private sector, and missionary organizations to propel Ghana's development.
A lot of believers are running away from IT, internet, AI, because they think that that is a potential source for the Antichrist to get your name on record. Who says he doesn't have your name already? Let's take advantage of technology. The world is using technology to promote negative things. Africa missed the Industrial Revolution, let's face it. Now we are in the year of informatics, where technology, AI, is leading development. And I think that it would be very unfortunate for the church to miss out on this one, and for that matter, the country. If you look at the brains God has given the mission fraternity, we cannot do a shoddy work.
In addressing the conflicts in the country, Reverend Enoch Nina Thompson issued a clarion call to Christians, urging them to take proactive steps in fostering peace and reconciliation.
If we have people on the other side, and you want to reach out to them, you need bridges, because there's a chasm between us and them. And so it is in this thinking that we as servants of God and missionaries, representatives of God, will have to dilate what goes into building these bridges. To reach them, we have to consciously look at how we can build bridges. Bridges ultimately come to human beings who become the men or the women of peace.
The society seeks to expand its outreach efforts nationwide, aiming to engage more communities and empower Ghanaians through its mission.
The National Treasurer of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Kabote Cesar, has called on the government to invest in skill training programs for the youth as a strategy to curb illegal mining, locally known as Galamsey. Speaking in an interview, he warned that the lack of alternative employment opportunities pushes young people into illegal mining, which severely impacts the environment and the green economy. He made the remarks on the sidelines of a 2-day training program for cooperatives, SMEs and startups in Wa in the Upper West region. Joy News Upper West regional correspondent Rafik reports from Wa.
The 2-day program for cooperatives, small and medium enterprises, SMEs and startups was themed promoting the economic empowerment of women and youth in green and circular economy sectors. The project is a partnership between the Ghana Chamber of Commerce and Industry and the Presbyterian University of Ghana, with funding support from the European Union in Ghana. The program brought together participants from the cooperative and SME sectors of the economy from the upper regions. The National Treasurer of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Michael Caesar, stated that the initiative aims to create a lasting impact by empowering women and youth through capacity building and opportunities in the green and circular economy.
The Ghanaian private sector, recognized as the engine of growth, is predominantly comprised of SMEs, many of which are owned by women and youth. However, women and youth-owned businesses encounter substantial challenges, including marginalization within the Ghanaian business environment, which impedes their growth. It is therefore imperative to continue supporting these businesses.
Michael Caesar called on the government to invest in skill training programs for youth as a strategy to curb illegal mining.
Illegal miners go about the operations in a way that destroy the environment. But if they are trained and their hands find something doing, and they are supported by grants and small loans, of course, the joy of working and having something to do will move them away from Galamsey.
Project consultant of GNCCI, Chris Adinayo, shed more light on the project.
Ghana Chamber of Commerce is down here at WA engaging small-scale enterprises and also cooperatives, raising the awareness about the importance of the environment to small-scale businesses, especially in the area of job creation for our women and youth, taking advantage of opportunities through our environment.
Other participants shared their thoughts about the program.
The organization has got women and youth, and this training is for them. Because of that, I had to travel all the way from Upper East to Upper West to learn, and then go back to support that my organization.
At the end of the program, I'm expecting to gain more knowledge about just mainly the corporations, how to run the business in general.
My expectation is that by the end of this program, I will gain more knowledge in how to expand the business and also how to let it be beneficial to people outside.
Reporting for Joy News, Rafik Salam. Wow.
The Dean of the Faculty of Engineering and Director of Gender and Diversity Center at Dr. Hilaliman Technical University, Professor Hamida Dramani, has encouraged young women to develop entrepreneurial skills, stating that the government alone cannot provide jobs for all graduates. Speaking at the university's Ladies' Week celebration organized by the Students' Representatives Women's Commissioner of the Dr. Hilaliman Technical University, in collaboration with Ghana Card in Upper West Region, she highlighted creativity and entrepreneurship is essential pathways to economic independence.
The Ladies' Week celebration of the Dr. Hilaliman Technical University was held at the team, empowering her future in entrepreneurship skills and leadership. Action today, impact tomorrow. The event brought together various tertiary students from the one municipality of the Upper West Region. The Dean of the Faculty of Engineering and Director of Gender and Diversity Center at the Dr. Hilaliman Technical University, Professor Hamida Dramani, speaking on the sidelines of the event, told Joy News that entrepreneurship skills is the way forward, as the government cannot absorb all graduates.
We just want them to know that we've got their back. We are here to support them in their dreams, to become good entrepreneurs, to become very successful, young women in our society, and also to become the next future leaders. And we really want them to also have that mindset, because mindset, I believe, is everything. Because even if the government builds these beautiful policies and you don't have the mindset, in the end it becomes a beautiful story written in white paper, but nothing happens.
Women's Commissioner of the University, Palvote Lydia, used the opportunity to launch the emergency pad bank. She spoke about its significance.
These are sanitary pads, and they shall be given to any female student of Dr. Hilaliman Technical University who might one way or the other experience the unexpected events. It will be given to the person to alleviate the discomfort, shame, and embarrassment they feel or experience when they have the unexpected menstrual cycle flow while attending lectures.
Acting Director of CARD Ghana and Sina Baini, whose organization is spearheading the Pad Bank initiative, urged other organizations to support schools in establishing pad banks.
The cost of sanitary pad is very high, so I'm using this platform to lobby with stakeholders, individual organizations, and then the government to look into that, and organizations to especially NGOs who can help schools in mounting pad banks. It will help the girls to have confidence in themselves when they come to school, and then it also increase the attendance of girls in school. So we should all come together to mount pad bank in school, so that girls will always have the confidence to come to school.
Other speakers included a senior lecturer at SDD UBEX, Dr. Eunice Yogri, interdevelopment practitioner, Aida Nakar, Women's Commissioner of the Socialist Movement of Ghana, Loretta Nade Ashi, and SRC President of the University, Zakaria Yakubu. Reporting for Joy News, Rafik Salam. Wa.
You're watching Joy Newsroom. Please stay for business updates.
Hello there, I am Emefa Apau, your host of The Probe, here on the Joy News channel. Your Sunday evenings are never the same. I get to give you company in terms of critical analysis of all the topical issues that concerns you and speak to all the people that matter. When the newsmakers want to speak, they speak on The Probe.
The IGP's distraction is no benefit to the committee, but we won't sit down for the IGP to be disgraced and insulted without giving him a hearing.
You can't miss it, because when it comes to audience participation, you are topmost priority. Start your week right on The Probe.
Welcome back, and in business updates today, economist Professor Patrick Isumin is certain the team from the IMF expected in town on Monday will help governments restructure the tax exemptions bill and streamline the entire VAT system. This, he said, or believes, when looked into will address the challenges associated with revenue generation. Speaking to Joy Business, Professor maintained an efficient VAT system will enhance revenue mobilization.
I think a big part would be the VAT exemptions. The exemptions conversation is something that has been very problematic, and it featured even in the IMF program number 16. Even though we've passed an exemptions bill, we see how even in the last administration, towards the end, granting exemptions to some companies became a point of standoff. So that is part. And then the other thing that at least the business committee complained about, there were too many structures and too many systems, businesses of the same structure having to follow different VAT arrangements. I think all of that brings inefficiency. So streamlining it and making sure that it is relatively flat, and also we get rid of a lot of the exemptions that minimize our ability to realize a lot of revenue from our VAT system. I think that would be two key components of that discussion. Don't forget that the IMF team has done a tax reassessment before, and they have a fair idea. They did a tax diagnostic tool for Ghana, and they have a fair idea where the revenue potentials lie. I just think that given how this government has started, and that it won't be something that is just the IMF telling us, let's make these changes and then you go ahead and do it. I think it's important that the discussions that we had with the private sector and then also academia during the national economic dialogue becomes important, or at least the consultation process is different from what we have seen before, where we won't see anything until it is passed. We don't know what has been discussed with the fund, and suddenly it's passed. And, there was something like that also going on with the BOG Act that they are trying to review. I don't think that's how we want to be dealing with it. If you want to do proper consultation, of course, the IMF might give you technical advice, but you should understand that there are also a lot of experts who are in this country. And then also there are people who understand our tax system in a way that probably the IMF team might not understand. They might have their own perspective. So I hope that whatever is agreed, it is still, there's a broad-based discussion before finally something makes its way to Parliament to be passed.
Still on the IMF, it's warning that the tariffs announced by the U.S. government possesses a significant risk to global economic outlook. The IMF, in a statement, added that it is important to avoid steps that could harm further the world economy. It also appealed to the U.S. and its trading partners to work with its trading partners to resolve these trade tensions. Meanwhile, IMF Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva has been speaking in an interview with Reuters.
When we look at the trade picture, we need to recognize two things. One, that the introduction of trade measures does create some uncertainty, especially rapid introduction. And uncertainty leads to impact on consumer confidence, on investor confidence. It also takes the disinflationary process to move slower or stall. We also recognize that the reaction to this sense we need more national security is underpinned by many, many, many people across the globe feeling that trade as we know it from the decades when it was flourishing, yes, it made all countries better off, but it did not make all people better off. And that, of course, gave that push to let's protect our own jobs, let's protect our own economies. We're seeing, however, that despite all this, the economies have proven to be resilient. Trade has proven to be resilient. Yes, today GDP growth is faster than growth in trade, but not by much. In other words, trade continues to grow. Trade in services grows much faster than trade in goods. And a very important observation, countries that have similar interests to be more integrated, especially small, medium-sized, open economies, they seek more collaboration. So trade is also rewired and will continue to be rewired. So that is the context within which indeed there is a lot of anxiety around developments. But I would say there is also a silver lining in this process because it is forcing countries to take much more seriously how to build resilience on their own, based on their own policies.
That'll be all for today on Joy Newsroom with me, Emefa Akosia Adeti. We really appreciate your company. For more news, do log on to myjoyonline.com. Enjoy your weekend.